Hey people, Broken Puppet, got another video for today. This one is how to draw a realistic eye. And that talk you through everything you need to know about it. This one is how to draw like a female looking eye. And I will do like a sort of male eye and how to do like an evil eye and maybe a side sort of, well, not side profile, but you know, kind of that angle. But yeah, enjoy this one and yeah, keep an eye out for the next ones. I'll see you next time. Alright people, how to draw a realistic eye. Now this is going to be the sort of like female eye, you know, so it's going to be a bit more cat-like, a bit more sort of, you know, attractive and a bit more smooth flowing than what, you know, like the kind of male ones and the evil type style. Quite simple this one. Now to start with, you want to sketch out almost like a little teardrop. And that's so if we say start from here, like this, to a point. Kind of like a sideways teardrop, or you know, like a sort of speech bubble kind of thing. You know, thin there, going slightly wider to a curve here. And now, when you do this one, you want this bit to go down, so it's just going down just a touch. You know, like if you measure like a straight line, it goes just down enough, and then curves back up. And then that line up there. You want to do another line, just go around the top. Now, if you imagine doing a straight line across, straight line there, then one curving. You want the line to follow that basis. See, kind of like that. And that now, sketch out just a few little bits, one little line there, little curve off the edge here, kind of V there. Now that's where the eyebrow is going to be. Got the eyebrow about there. If you imagine the nose would be roughly around there. Now it all kind of flows with the same sort of shape. If you imagine sort of going with the eye, like see this line? If you imagine raising it up, that's roughly the eyebrow line. And it comes down and brings the nose. Now the nose starts to bend just as it goes past this bit. Now I won't go into the nose, just focus on the eye today. Now then just do a circle in the middle. Now you want it to be not overly big, but big enough so it's just a bit wider, a bit taller than the eyelid. Of course, unless the eye is wide open, then it'll fit perfect centre. But yeah, if you imagine about that, then another one on the side. And now if you imagine sort of from the centre point to there, if you go up about 2/3, that's roughly where you want the line for that circle bit to go. Now you want this bit to be sort of like 2 times what you know this length is. Now that we got that, I'm just going to get a light pencil. This is like, you know, a H or an F or something like that. Nothing too dark just yet. And I want you to put a shadow in the areas I'm sort of working on now here. So you see this side. That side. Quite heavily on this bit. A little bit around here. Quite heavily under the eye bit. And again, just around here. Now the reason I do that is because I want a little highlight bit across here and a highlight bit up here. Go quite dark on the nose. We usually use quite a bit more shadow on that bit of nose than the rest of the eye. Once you've got that, you can use your finger or you can use like a smudger. I quite like using my smudgers. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and then you get these like, you know, in any typical kind of art store. It's just basically just like rolled up paper, and all it does is the same job your finger would do if you're smudging. Then just blend them out so it's all kind of blurry. Now you want it to be fairly dark around the outside. You don't want it too light. And a lot of people get the wrong idea with skin tone. They sort of tend to leave most of it white. You know, I find it always generally looks better even if you sort of go darker. Skin tone has got its own colour. Right. Now we got that. Just going to grab me 7B. This one's a bit darker. I'm just going to sketch in another circle, like a highlight I'm going to do in the eye. That's going to go just above that pupil bit. So now I'm just going to sketch in the circle in the pupil, but not going into that other circle. I'm going to leave that circle white. And I'll sketch this bit in pure black. Now I always like to put at least one bit pure black right from the very beginning. And what this does, it helps me work out my values. Now your values are like your grey shades, between pure black and pure white. And that, 'cause in a picture you want sort of scales going all the way across. You want at least one bit always to be pure black and at least one bit to be pure white. And that gives you the full range of contrast. Now a lot of people tend to go too light for a whole image. This helps you work out where to go darker. Now to start with, we're going to put dark bits in the key areas. So around that sort of eyelid bit we done, put a fairly thick black line, just curving around. It's about there. Then that above eyelid bit. Again, really quite dark. Because that bit kind of folds into the skin. And that. You've got a few other little bits, but these ones I'm not going to go too dark just yet, because the darkness is going to come when I do the detail bits. So if you imagine a little line bit around there, and just a bit around here. Because I'm doing a woman's eye, it's generally going to be a bit darker around the eye bit. So like, if you imagine where the makeup would be. And that. Now I've got that, I'm going to put in a dark line. Going slightly lighter as I get to the bottom of the circle. Not too light though, just a touch bit, just so there's a very slight difference between the top darkness and the bottom darkness. And now you probably can't tell here, but once we put the shading in, you'll see there is a slight difference between this top bit and this bottom bit. And now we got that, I'm going to switch to my lighter pencil again. And the reason I switched to my lighter one for this, and that's because the lighter one, when you blend it out, tends to go smoother than the dark ones do. Sometimes the dark pencils can leave a bit of a grainy effect. I don't want that just yet. Now for this, I'm just going to put in a very, very light shade, just the whole way through the eye, minus that circle, and I'm going to have another little highlight bit just here. And I'm going to quickly just blend that out. Keeps the camera steady there, keeps wobbling. Right. There we go. So that's sort of blended in. I know at the moment it still looks a bit cartoony, don't worry. As we keep building layers up, it gets more and more realistic. And that now, what you might want to do, these come handy. Any kind of rubber can do this, but these are bloody handy. This isn't an electric rubber or an electric eraser, been away from. And that, only cheap, you can get these from most art stores. This one only cost me £2. So American would be what, about $3? And that, but they are brilliant. Press a little button, the rubber spins like crazy. Just helps you just rub up perfect white bits. Any eraser can do it, but it's just a bit faster than the average eraser would be. So you see now I've got those highlight bits just perfectly out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken up certain bits on the outside and just slowly build it up. So I'm just going to darken this bottom bit a bit. So just put like a basic bit of shadow with your pencil. Just underneath there. Again, just on this inner bit of the eye. Oh, excuse me. Directly under that eyelid bit, So where you got that black line, you want to shade underneath it. That goes the whole way around. Bit on this side. A little bit more on this little bit here. Now I'm slowly building this up. It's only like a touch bit darker than what you know the initial shading was. And it might look a little bit darker on here, I don't know, but you don't want to go in like really dark straight away, otherwise, like I said, you get that grainy effect when when you're blending it. And just blend that out. Just like that. So as you can see, you can start seeing the 3D-ness come into play now. Once we start putting the direct detail in the eye, you'll see it come out even more. Now what I want to do, you see we've done this initial black line around this bit. I want you to put a little shade just around the outside. Quite bold, you don't want it to blend too much. But, I mean, you can even do this with a pencil if you want. You might find it easier with a pencil. Just come out a bit wider with a slightly light pencil. And just build a line up around it. Just there. Then get your smudger and just blend the edge just a touch. Now what this does, this creates the illusion of it dipping in. You see? And now you leave this bit a bit light because you know this bit's under, so this is why this bit's dark. If you make your light coming down, this bit's a bit lighter. So if you used to make this work, you have to go onto the opposite side. So you leave like a little white section and you blend down from the bottom bit. Kind of like that, you see? Now we've basically got that. I want to put in a little shadow on the inside bit now. Just bring in a little bit of shadow in this corner for now. A little bit just here, just underneath the eyelid. Just a little bit coming that side. And just flicking out and just rounding it round, just as if it was a big ball. And imagine being a big ball, I'm just shedding this side a little bit and just shedding this side, just a touch. Not too much though. Now we got that. Now what I'll do is I'm going to get me electric eraser and it's going to put some skin detail. Now this is really handy. This kind of helps you get like a skin effect. And I mean the skin looks okay at the moment, but if you really want to get that extra bit of detail, this is how you do it. And you can do this with, like I said, like normal rubber does the same thing. If you ain't got a sharp edge on your rubber, get your rubber and just get like a pair of scissors or a knife and just cut it flat. And when you cut it flat, you'll get a nice flat edge. And you can use that to get perfect little lines. Now, that's always a good tip. Now with this, I'm just going to keep dabbing it. And just taking little dots. And I'm doing this because the light is kind of coming a bit this way. And I'm going to have a little bit coming down from this side. So it's just a few little highlight bits, just to make the eyes a bit more sparkly. And that. And it just, those little kind of wrinkles in the eye, now, they don't always make an eye look old. You know, a lot of people won't get the misconception about it. They think wrinkles always make their face look old. It don't. Those little lines just add detail to make it more realistic sometimes. Now again, just going to bring this around here. I'm just going to bring a little white line just along that little eyelid bit. Just there. I'm going to bring in a few little just around this eye. Same thing, just little dots, but just going with the same shape. You see this way it curves around here? So doing dots, but just flicking them and just dragging them in the same direction the eye kind of goes. See the eyelid bit there? And just some down here. Going generally roughly the same way. Do some here. She's around that sort of middle bit. Just create a little highlight. Now you see how it's starting to look a lot more realistic just with that. Just bring a few little bits just on this outside bit. Just going to dab just like crazy on this bit. Just got to remember, skin isn't perfectly smooth, you know. You got all your little pores and your little detail bits. You know, you don't have to add them. Sometimes it looks better without them, but sometimes it's nice just to add them in. You know, it just gives it that element of realism. And that. So you see there where I wanted that highlight, I just got that bit sparkling a little bit. And that. You know, sometimes if it's a bit too thick, you can kind of just get your finger and just rub around it to blend it out a touch. And that. And then get a light pencil. And just fill in some little gaps around it. Like do like a contrast to some. We got the light bits. Go dark around some of those light bits. And that brings them out. And that, but do this with a light pencil, like a light H. And really blend outwards so you don't have an outline. You know. You basically put an outline, then you blend around it so the outline doesn't appear like it's there. Just like there. Just bring a little bit here. Then just bring a few little bits just around here. And then just bring in a few little dark lines. You know, with a light pencil. And just do the same thing, you just drag them and just follow the same shape as the face. Now what you want is, you don't want these lines perfectly in line. You want them kind of like twisting and overlapping each other, so you kind of get X shapes and sort of, you know, little twists and turns. And that. Each little line just adds a bit more character to the face. But not too much though. See, I'm going to leave those lines just like that, I think. Just with a couple. Just going through that centre bit, just there. Yeah. And now we've got that, I'm going to go onto the pupil a bit more here now. Now where we've done the pupil in the middle, if you imagine the centre point, bring a line down, and just flick some little black lines. Just come in, just outside the circle. All varying in length, have some small ones and some big ones. And that, don't overlap your highlights. See your circle here and your circle there, don't go over them. And that we undo, you do the same thing, similar, but just on the outside. But you want to create little kind of curves joining them and have them varying around. And that, if you find it hard doing that, what you can do is imagine they're all pointing towards the centre and just do like this sort of jaggedy line, just sketch it in, and just having all your little points that you sort of spike up pointing towards that centre, and then just black that area in. Don't go too crazy with this, like you want it just across the edge. And remember, as you get to the bottom, you want that slightly lighter than this top area. See, just kind of like that. Then what you want to do is switch to your lighter pencil. And now what you do is if you imagine like long kind of oval shapes, varying in size, just through the middle bits. And then just create some random patterns around the outside, but just don't touch those ovals and that. So just kind of zigzagging all the way around it, just going crazy with those lines all around them. Now, because the eye has just got so much detail, you know, I mean, it's almost like marble when you look at it, you know, if you get up close, you know, it's like endless detail in the eye. And there's so many different ways, every eye is so different. If you've got blue eyes, you know, it's always, you know, much easier to see, or if you've got frame of blue eyes. You know, just get them really close, you know, and just have a look. You know, it's always good to study from real life. And that, so you see there, just done those little ovals and just slowly moved in. I'm just going to put a little bit of shade just around the outside bit there. I'm just going to darken up the top bit of the pupil. Because this top bit will be shadowed by the eyelid. So just putting a bit of shadow just across the top, just like that. Simple, eh? Now we've got that, I just want to redefine a few of those lines, because where I've been blending, they kind of lost a bit of character, so just darken that line up again. A little bit dark around there. Now it's going to put a little bit of detail in this area now. Now it's kind of hard to describe this, but if you just imagine you want to do like a little kind of ball shape in the middle bit here, and then do some mad kind of little squirrely detail lines, just leave a few little white areas, and finish with a quite defined line curve on the corner. And that everyone's eye bit here sort of is very different. You know, if you look at yours in the mirror, you can sort of get an idea of how it looks. And that, it's quite difficult to draw, but you just want to get like a gist of what it looks like. You know, don't try to draw every little detail bit of it. But you can do, if you want to put a little bit of sparkle, get your eraser again. Just put a couple little dots in there. And that'll do it, that'll give it a little nice highlight. On another little highlight, actually on the whites, I'm going to put one there. A little line bit of one just there. Now we've done that, now we're going to add the eyelashes. I deliberately leave the eyelashes till last because if you're doing beforehand, as you're doing all the smudging and blending, you basically end up smudging them, and you want the highlight, you know, the eyelashes to be quite defined. So you can start off with a light pencil sketches in if you're not too sure about where to put them at first, but I like to get me a nice dark pencil, especially on, you know, female eyes. You know, I like to have really thick, bold lashes. And that, now you got to remember, the eyelashes curve underneath. Like, so don't just start here and flick up. You want them to curve down. So start bringing it down, and then flick it over. And that, very important. And you got to remember, as you get towards the centre, you want them facing the centre, and then as it gets towards this side, you want to twist it and going this way. So for now, twist them this way. As you get to the centre, bring them more straight, and make them longer and thicker. You know, as you get towards the centre and the side, they get bigger and bolder. I like to have a few sort of going the same sort of way, so little clusters of eyelashes. And then, like I said, now they just keep shooting out, going over this way. Now, I like mine to be really quite thick and bold, and then I like them to come quite far out the eye. So if you imagine where the corner bit is, you have quite a few sort of pointing that way, making like a point. See, kind of like that. And then just thicken it up and add more. Just like that. A few little more this side, maybe this one's a bit bolder. You got to remember, as it gets near to this bit, it becomes almost non-existent. You know. Now for the bottom bit, you got to remember these ones start on the edge. See, we've done a little white line, so don't start directly from, you know, the eyelid bit. Just flick these in. Got to remember the bottom ones are smaller, and there's not generally as many as the top, unless you're going for some crazy false eyelash effect. Again, you see it's going there, just slowly getting sort of, you know, a bit bolder as it gets to this side bit. Sharpen this up a little bit. Always good to keep your pencil sharp on these bits. Whoa, let me just draw my pencil on that one. That's better. Yeah, so always keep a sharpener ready, because you want these to be quite detailed. Always sharpen it too much and it breaks. Yeah, and now I've got that, I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow in certain areas, because where you've got the eyelashes, I like the shadow of the eyelash to be underneath. So if I grab a lighter pencil, my H, I'm just going to kind of almost mirror the way that line looks. See that bit there? And that, now the eyelash shadow is the only thing that goes over the white highlights. A few little ones there. And just a few little, when you're looking at it, you just work out a few little areas you might want to make a bit darker. Like I want to make this corner just a touch bit darker. So I'm just going to sketch this bit here and just smudge this bit out. And just re-put that highlight over the top. Yeah, quite like that. And then it's just pretty much all you got left now is the eyebrow. Now you've got to remember the eyebrow varies on person to person, but I like to start it just a little bit further inwards than this line. So you bring that up, I like to start it roughly about here. And that. And I'm going to start off just with a grey sort of shade, just so roughly plot it in. Don't be afraid to go pretty thick with it, you know, for even eyebrows. A lot of time the thin ones aren't always like the best. Now if you look at a lot of people like, you know, sort of like say Natalie Portman, Audrey Hepburn, Angelina Jolie, you know, a lot of these females, you know, they have like the really thick eyebrows, and it just brings the eyes out a lot more in my opinion. You know. Now, I'm not talking like monster, like, you know, unibrow sort of thing, but you get the idea. Now just blend that in first. And now all this does is basically base like a drop shadow against where the hair is going to be. And you want to get as thin a pencil as you can here. I'm going to use a mechanical pencil for this. Just flick in the lines. Flick in downwards, right? So the line gets thinner as it goes towards the eyebrow here. Well, as it gets towards the skin. And just have that line twisting a bit. Try not to have every line going the exact same direction. Have it going generally the same way, but have them like cross over every now and again. You know, it just makes them look a bit more realistic. And then as you get here, it kind of twists and turns, goes more straight as it gets towards the edge bit. And then just go around the top and start flicking out the other way. Let's get like a nice kind of soft eyebrow. You're always going to come to like a nice little point at the end. Now, to me, that's always key. And just a little bit smudge around the outside. And voila, there you have it. How to draw a realistic looking eye. And now, there's a lot more you can add to these. You know, this is just trying to give you the basic idea of what to do with the eye. You know, teaching the fundamentals. And now I will teach you how to do like a male kind of eye and an evil kind of eye. And now show you a bit more detail on how to do, like, you know, the sort of skin textures. Like, you know, because on a man, like, especially when you do like an older man, you know, you get a lot more creases, you know, and a lot more kind of wrinkles. And with the evil eye, you get even more. But the evil eye goes a little bit, I don't know how to describe it. It's realistic still, but it's unrealistic in the way an eye actually is. And you add a lot of extra bits which don't exist in an eye normally. But you'll see when I do that later on. But yeah, for now, I hope you enjoyed this. And The Broken Puppet. Check out my videos if you want. And I will see you next time. Peace out.